Oh, guys.
Okay. Well, then you had your meal, yeah. Okay, so the plan is to do 2 lessons today so that you do not have a Google Meet tomorrow, or a Zoom, I should say, whatever. The review is still assigned. I'll take.
No, wait, no. No, we should do the review on 6-1.
Yep. Hold on. Okay. So the review is scheduled for tomorrow. And the only reason for that was to do the test on Tuesday so that if somebody was absent, they wouldn't have to like make something up after school. But I also kind of forgot Thursday and Friday next week are actually still school days if you're not done with everything. So there's nothing wrong with, we have options today. So I can move the test to next Wednesday, because if anybody is absent, then they can still take it on Thursday or Friday. And that shouldn't be an issue. So we have options if we want to do 2 lessons today, and then we wouldn't have a Zoom tomorrow. And then we can do the review Tuesday and then the test Wednesday. That is absolutely an option. Or we can do 11-4 today, 11-5 tomorrow, review Tuesday, test Wednesday.
Option A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Yeah, what's the option one again? Oh, today. Yeah, let's do.
No Google.
Should I take a semi-quick vote? Although I have a feeling, yes, we know what you guys are vocal about. I haven't heard from the other half of the room.
You can go on the Google Meet tomorrow.
Hey, let's not sit there and shame them, okay? That's why we have a vote.
I'm sorry. If you want to Google Meet tomorrow, then go on the Google Meet.
No, I don't want to either.
Yeah.
So I'll double check with you guys to verify what you guys want. Option A is that we'll do 2 lessons today. Tomorrow would just be kind of like a work day to finish up anything from 4 or 5. Tuesday would be the review, Wednesday would be the test. Option B would be 11.4 today, 11.5 tomorrow, review Tuesday, test Wednesday. And I can fix Schoology however later. How many people would like option A, which was 2 lessons today and then nothing tomorrow? Okay, how many people would like option B with 1 today, 1 tomorrow? Can we not like bully the people who are voting for the other option? Doesn't matter. Some people vote that way too. Yep, adults are the same way, where some people can't stand Democrat or Republican, so they vote one way just to make the other person angry. Okay, so majority would like 2 today. We will see how the lessons go. So if we are finding the lessons are going difficult, then we can slow down or do whatever different as well. There's no set. Oh, and you guys voted A as well. Okay. A. They did. Well, they're allowed to vote, yes. Currently, it is 2 lessons today. But the one thing that I'll be changing for sure is that we'll do the review Tuesday and the test Wednesday, just because I forgot Thursday and Friday are still optional days.
What was it going to be before? The test was going to be
originally, before distance learning happened, Thursday and Friday. Friday was supposed to be the last day of normal school, rather than next Wednesday.
Friday.
So Thursday and Friday of next week currently are set for people who are behind or need help to just basically at that point make up work. Okay, so the problem with 11.4 notes is that I have them written in OneNote, and it's not super compatible with this computer. I know it's okay, but it's, yep.
Yeah, we'll figure it out together.
Sure.
Oh, God, you just want to. Sure.
Well, it's very short. It's a very short set of notes.
Thank you.
Um,
Is it touch me really hard?
No.
How many questions is it gonna be? 14.
I don't remember.
14.
What's the deal with 14?
Most of the tests have been 14.
Oh, sure. I don't care. I literally don't remember it at all.
So.
Nor do I care how many questions it
One
is.
question.
Well, no, it'd be easier for you to have more
Yeah.
because they're easier questions.
Yeah, and all the questions are worth like 12 points. So if you get one wrong, I was like, your grade is just down. Done for.
Last trimester, the class did very well on the last test.
See, but I don't.
Is that really all you
Yeah,
care
I'm
about?
struggling a little bit. Me too.
By then, you should be okay.
Okay, by next Wednesday, I think I'll be fine.
Correct.
Yeah, we're gonna be fine.
So 11.4 is going to be very easy. It's probably going to be longer for us to write notes down than to do the problem. Yes. Yes.
Oh, we talked about linear yesterday.
We did.
You said we were gonna talk about it today.
Correct. So that's why it should be easy today.
Yeah, easy. And tonight we're gonna do that. All our missing work. Almost done. Tonight, no more missing work. None. 0. You have to have constant attitude.
I have everything in. Negative Nelly.
I have an A and I still have like 6.
Okay, yesterday we did exponential, where if you were given a bunch of numbers, you were supposed to check to see if it was exponential. And I did bring up linear because we did that a long time ago. But we've also done one other set with exponential. What? So there's 2 types of problems in this section. The first is that you're supposed to identify what it looks like from a graph, which shouldn't be horrible. You've got linear, quadratic, and exponential to choose from. Why is there a stronger? There we go.
Should we write all that down?
It's totally up to you what you would like to write. If I were you,
Straight line equals
can I talk? Yes. If I were you guys, what I would write down is what the picture looks like, because the numbers aren't important because you know how to graph. So I would draw what a picture would look like and which one it would be called. So linear means the points go in a straight line. So underneath linear, I would just put some points in a straight line. Quadratic is if your points change direction. So a U shape. And you don't need many points to determine if it changes direction. You basically only need 3 points to know if it changes between up and down. Now, the hard part about this one would be if you only graphed half of the U. But the points you're going to be given would make a full U shape. And then exponential, the one we've been doing this chapter, curves, but it doesn't change direction. So this is like a half of a U shape. That's going to be the 3 choices. So you're going to be given a table and asked what it is. One way you can do that is by making a graph. If you don't want to make a graph, that's going to be what we do next. But you absolutely have options on how you want to identify. Everything's falling. Oh, that's throw.
No, I dropped it.
Yeah, but that was on purpose.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
We'll just say the rings. Thank you.
Wait, what's the difference between quadratic and exponential?
Quadratic changes direction, so like a full U shape. Exponential curves, but is only half of a U shape.
Oh,
So exponential curves, but doesn't turn around.
okay.
Wait, is this?
This is only if you're looking at a picture.
So this is different from yesterday.
Yes, but that's what we're doing next.
Okay.
Next is if you're given the numbers and you just want to figure it out from the numbers themselves.
Yesterday, all we did was
Exponential.
use graph.
Yes. Yeah, so this is kind of like extra on top of it, but it's the same thing. Anybody? Yes, I'll wait. Any kind of questions from up there? I know really the main questions, if you didn't hear it over here, the main questions is how you tell the difference between these two. Quadratic will turn around or change direction. Exponential curves, but doesn't change direction. That's the main thing.
So technically, if it's a full U, it's quadratic, and if it's half U, then it's exponential.
And you would purposely be given points that would show a full U or. Because if you're only looking at half of quadratic, you can't tell that. Does anybody want this up here? Looks like everything's done right. Okay, now the annoying one, which will probably take you a little bit to write down.
Oh,
What's that?
no.
So if you're just given numbers, you've got to decide which one it is. I will absolutely wait until you write this down to talk about it.
You go hold it. Is this for style two?
Patterns to choose a model. Is that what part you wanted?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually quite a bit easier than it looks just by looking at this picture. This is 3 separate problems.
That's a lot of work,
But
I got it.
it's a lot of writing, but not a lot of work.
Yeah. How many?
3.
That's not that.
No, so I think you're only going to get 1 or 2 of these on the test, if I remember right. And so when you're given this question, it's very fast to do. In terms of notes, not as much.
Can I scoot up the desk so I can see it better? I
Sure.
don't know.
I didn't make you sit there.
I know.
Oh, that's right. You need glasses.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Plus, worst case scenario, I'm recording this so we can kind of look back at it if need be. This is partially why I wanted to do 2 lessons today, because this is the end of 11.4. There isn't any other kind of problems. When you're when you're going to have the homework for 11.4, you're just given a table of numbers, and you're supposed to say, is this linear, quadratic, or exponential? And that's the entire section. So that's why I wasn't too worried about doing 11.5 today as well.
So what would we like put for like our work?
Just have to, like, write the work. Yeah, that's what I'm going to kind of go through with you. This technically was all of the work done. I just didn't want to erase it because I didn't know if I could write it again. I don't know, the computer's working weird today, so. My original plan was this was totally empty, and then I would write the work. Yeah, I'm going to explain it all. I just thought I'd give you a lot of time to write it down first.
I just want to try the first one.
Oh, so I should definitely sit down.
What?
Okay. This is going to be a while.
I'll take a picture of it. I can see.
No, you're not the only one.
Well,
You're just you're the person I gauge how fast everything goes.
well, it's easier if I can just like keep it like down like mine, so I don't have to keep looking at it.
Sure.
Just, like, keep it there.
Oh, and Adeline left her phone. You could have had her take the picture, send it to you.
I could have.
Could have just airdropped it to everybody in class. That's a good move.
For C, is that 0.85?
Yes, 0.85. I don't usually write the 0. So the first thing to make this feel a little less confusing, the information that's written on the red on the left-hand side of each set of numbers isn't something that you have to do. Basically, that was just me checking that the numbers are even intervals so that I could look at the numbers on the right. You guys are kind of automatically going to be given numbers that work. So you only have to do the right-hand side. I thought maybe you found out you didn't get 100% on your poster.
Oh my God.
Okay.
That's when it paste instead of copy. So then it pasted on the one paragraph that I copied before. That would have been bad.
Undo.
Yeah.
There never used to be an undo. There never used to be an undo. When the computers first came out, it was just type whatever and that was it. You couldn't like paste anything. You couldn't. It's quite annoying. Yes.
Underneath the recursive, does that say even?
Yes. Yeah, even check mark. Actually, you guys get to learn to type on a computer. I had to learn to type on a typewriter. That was horrible.
I lost my other small notebook that I was using like.
You have multiple?
Yes, I'm a small notebook lover.
Okay.
And I had my one that I was using like the whole try, and then I can't find it, so I had to use.
An old one?
Get my old small notebook.
Hopefully you find it before the test.
Yeah, but no, it's fine. I've been using this one the whole unit.
Okay, okay.
I don't know what happened to it. It's just gone. This is all my old, like all the old math that we've done, like when we were on like
Online. Yeah, I feel like there should be a joke there about it being too small, but we'll just.
No, I have like all of it is filled with.
How do you lose your notebook though? Don't you just throw it in your backpack and then leave it?
Oh yeah, but I took it out to do the homework, and then I don't know what happened to it. So.
Check at home, check in cars, check under your bed.
It's fine. I'm only missing like the first day.
Okay. Are most of you getting close to writing it down? Should I wait yet? We're almost done, so that means everybody else is almost done? Okay.
I kind of like when I have a lot of writing in my notebook. Same, I love when my notebook is filled up. That's why I like the small notebook. Then I can't fill up lots of pages. Like that just looks cool. I'm learning things.
What's the topic?
Something about patterns. Identifying by patterns. Patterns to choose them out.
No, like out of 11, 4, what's the name for it?
Oh, linear, quadratic, and exponential. You're basically choosing between those three types of models. Okay, so here's what you're going to do if you're given a set of numbers. So first thing you do is you check to see if the x values of numbers on the left are evenly spaced apart. And that's all this was doing. So each one of these was very different, but it doesn't matter. As long as the x's are evenly spaced, then you can look at the right-hand side of the y values. Now you'll notice that A and B deal with addition and subtraction. C deals with multiplication and division. So the first thing you have to do, which is kind of annoying, is you have to check to see which one it fits. So I would start by seeing how much bigger or smaller they are than each other. So addition and subtraction. So 32 to 41 is up 9. 41 to 50 is up 9. And then immediately when I notice those are all the exact same, that's linear. So if addition and subtraction is the same to start with, that's linear. If you try to do addition and subtraction, and you notice they are different to start with, we're not automatically going to throw that one out as, you know, like not linear, not exponential. So this one, these numbers were all different. This is called the first difference. If you look to see how far apart these numbers are, so like if I check to see how far it is from -144 to -112, if you guys need help doing that on a calculator, you're always going to do this number minus this. And then you'd find out that was 32. Then I do -80 minus -112, and then I find out it's 32. If this second set of numbers is the same, that's called quadratic. So the second differences are the same as quadratic. Now, if these aren't the same, then you have to check to see if it's a common multiplier between them. So it's kind of annoying. I get that that part isn't fun, but that's going to be the order that you go through. You check to see if it's linear, if those first numbers are the same. If it's not the same, then you check to see if it's quadratic, to see if the second set of numbers is the same. If they're the same, it's quadratic. If these aren't the same, then the third thing you do is check to see if it's a common multiplier or divisor. So then you take 17,000 divided by 20,000, you get 25. Then you take 14,450 divided by 70,000, you get 25. And if you find out if it's a common multiplier between these, then it's exponential. So this looks like a ton of work, obviously. It's not as much as it seems like just because you're just given one problem and you just work with that one problem. If the numbers are very easy, if it's something like 2, 4, 8, 16, I bet you guys could kind of immediately notice that they're all double. So then you don't have to go through in order. If you can tell it's multiplication right away, do that and then know it's exponential. If it's something simple like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, well, then that's automatically linear because it's up 10 each time. Like if it's something very straightforward, that's, you know, you don't have to go in order. So this is 11.8. And that's all the more to this section there is. That kind of makes sense now that we can do a problem together if you want. Oh, yes, okay. I don't know if I can write them. I don't know, let's find out. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's go. Does somebody have their homework open? Like, let's just do number 1 together.
I have it.
Okay, excellent. What's the X numbers? Because I think they're written like a table.
Yeah, well, they're written in a line.
Yeah.
The first one's -1. Well, all the X's first.
Sure, we'll go straight down.
-2, 0, 1, -3.
Really?
Yeah, I'm confused.
Oh, the first 3 questions are meant to be a graph, where you graph them on a.
Like yesterday's homework?
Yes. So let's erase this and go to number 4. Okay. That's gonna be great.
I'm supposed to do this.
Sorry, my fault. I forgot about that. That's why they weren't in order. Okay, so let's do number 4 together. 1, 2, and 3 is supposed to be graphed.
Okay. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And then 1, 2.5, 3, 2.5, 1.
Okay. I can tell by these numbers it's going to be quadratic because it goes up and then down again, but we'll like go through the work to prove it. No.
Oh wait, no, because it goes up by. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so these all go up 1. So all that does is tell us that we can look at the right-hand side. So on the right-hand side, from 1 to 2.5 is up 1.5. From 2.5 to 3 is up 0.5. 3 to 2.5 is down 0.5. 2.5 to 1 is down 1.5. So it's not linear. Like that's the only thing I can tell so far. It's not linear. So then I'm going to check to see how far apart these numbers are. From 1.5 to 0.5 is down 1. From 0.5 to -0.5 is down 1. Each one of those is down 1. Because those are all the same, this is quadratic. It's not linear because these weren't the same. Yes. If these numbers were all the same, it's linear, then you stop. You basically stop once you figure out which one of the three it is. And it's guaranteed to be one of the three. And I think all these answers are already written in the assignment. I don't think the work is there, but the answers are.
Is it the?
There's only 6 of these. Yep.
Is this how you want it?
Yeah, this is the work. Yep. And then on the test itself, it's in Schoology, so there's no work to be shown. I can't remember if I have a spot for you to turn in the work after the test. We'll look at that then. Okay, so let me get 11.5 open. Whoa. There we go. Yeah, oh, this one's all messed up too. So most okay, well, there we go. Most students felt like 11.4 was a lot easier than 11.5. And it's not that 11.5 is hard, it's just weird. Each section in this whole chapter is kind of strange in its own way. What time is it? Is it 35?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got plenty of time. Because I want to leave a little bit of time for you guys to work. I know technically tomorrow is like work time, but I'd like to leave some time for you in here to be able to ask questions. Now, you do not need to write all this down. I wanted to put it up there to show it. The only thing I would write down if I were you is the words on the left. And you don't even have to use the real words here. A square root function just means that your letters are inside of a square root. So all three of these, the x is inside the square root. That makes it called a square root function. These are non-examples. The only one I cared about in this column was the third one. Yeah.
What did you say was the square root?
A square root function is any function whose x is inside the square root. That'd be like the normal word way to say it. This is the math definition way.
Are we supposed to write this down?
X is inside the square root. You are way behind. That's what happens when you talk to somebody else.
No, it was very important.
It was, I know, I'm sure.
Oh, we're not doing that. We're doing it. I was like, okay.
Sure, we'll go then.
Oh, what? Okay.
Why is this one not a square root function? These three are. Why is this one not? Because this is the only one that's usually confusing. I think I was trying to assist you.
Is it because the x is outside?
Yes. So this one, the square root symbol is only on the 3. It's not on both of them. And this is the one that's usually kind of confusing because it's hard to tell where the square root is. So you're going to have to watch out for that. Like a lot of times you'll have an example like that, where you just have to double check the square root is over the x. I mean, that's the only annoying thing to me. That's why I wanted this example. Okay. So here's some of the problems. Where's the equation?
Wait, can you go back?
No, because you weren't supposed to write much down from it.
Anyway, a square root function is a function whose rule contains a variable
Under a square root sign.
That's all you're supposed to write.
I'm trying to remember. I don't have the textbook.
I
in here.
call him right.
I think, I'm just gonna guess. I think it was this. I think this was the same equation for both of them, but for whatever reason, I erased it. So you'll be given a square root equation. And then you're just going to be putting a number in place of x and then finding the answer. Like it's that straightforward. Now, some of the equations can be stranger, might have other things with it.
Should we write down like the equation or not?
Totally up to
What
you.
it says?
If it's up to me, I'm going to guess we'll just do A. Because A and B are pretty much the same kind of question. Let's go Garrett.
I thought it was gonna
No?
be popcorn.
Oh,
I thought Izzy was gonna pick.
that's because you're always on your phone, so I'm trying to keep you.
I thought-
like,
I was submitting the homework.
I thought Izzy
Yes, I
got to pick.
was.
I
wait,
thought
why are you doing that now, though?
Because I'm done.
I thought Izzy got to pick.
I promise.
So,
I'll show you.
okay, my fault. I didn't let Izzy pick.
Go, Garrett.
I like it. Why didn't you personally fact that you could call on? Isn't that a good thing?
Oh.
Oh,
Garrett, it's a good thing to be called out.
okay.
You have to answer.
Garrett, I'll let you call somebody else.
Well,
What's the that's just me?
yeah, that's what you mean. I think you should have to do it.
Okay, Alex, what should I do with this one and like, how do I find the answer?
You gotta find the square root of 8
Okay, how come?
All right.
because it's in the square root.
Okay. What do I do with that X though? What you were saying was actually pretty much right on the right track anyway, but
I'm sure.
okay, that's all right. So we could still find the correct answer doing it the way you were saying. We'll do it a little bit different way, but it still could have gotten the correct answer. Are you trying to volunteer? Okay.
Well, actually, I don't know, but I'm just,
Then why did you volunteer?
because I think I know.
Oh, okay.
Do you times 8 and like 4?
We're just gonna put the 4 in place of X.
Yeah, and then you multiply them.
Yep.
And then you find the square root of 30.
Yes, and so a lot of today's is gonna be on the calculator.
Wait,
So the way that you were saying, Alex, would still work. You could do the square root of 8 on the calculator, and then you could multiply that by the square root of 4 on the calculator. Still get the same answer. Yeah,
where's like the 8 coming from? Yeah.
that is a great question. It's because I copied and pasted something from the book,
Oh,
and I forgot to copy the
okay.
paragraph that said things free fall at this speed. You'll be given a different equation for every problem. It's not always going to be this equation. Yeah, you'll be given a different equation for every problem, but you don't have to come up with it on your own. Yeah. So that. It's like 5.5. 5.66.
Wait, so
5.7 would be fine. That's a bad 5. Okay. Yeah. Oh, thanks. I'm not gonna do that. I'll be okay with whatever. Should we skip B?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have a question on this? On what, like what you're supposed to do? Yes. So each one of these problems, what you're going to do is they'll give you an equation, and then you're just going to put the number you're given in a sentence in for X. Yep. Okay, now this is the annoying one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. So the domain of square root functions. They're not hard to do, they're just like something that most of you aren't going to think of doing naturally. But we should back up. Nice. Internet's been unstable all day. Alex, do you have something that you want to talk?
Garrett?
Okay. Garrett?
Yeah, Gary.
It was apparently it's tested. Do you remember what domain means?
No.
Okay, that's all right, because this one's kind of a tough question. So domain is going to be any number that you can use in place of x. I'm trying to think of a better way for me to phrase the question easier. Do you remember what you can't have with square roots? Yeah, perfect, perfect. So you can't have a negative. You can't have a negative square root. So this is kind of the fact we're going to use to figure out the domain. So we can use any number in place of x as long as this doesn't happen. So what we're going to do is for our domain is you're only going to take the information under the square root. You don't care about the -3 because that just, whatever number you put in place of x, you just subtract 3 at the end. We only care about the square root. And so we are going to take the square root info, and we want to figure out when it's not negative. So if you like writing things in your notes, basically the one step we're going to do, you're going to do the same step every time. You're going to take the square root info and make it greater than or equal to 0. And solve. The actual math that we're going to do is easy. But the hardest part for most everybody is remembering this step. So if you're a person that likes to write notes, this would be a good thing to put in there because this is the one step you need to do for the domain. And from last trimester, this was the question on the test that most people had trouble remembering. Basically, if you are a person who uses your notes, they remember how to do this because of this. It's an odd step. It's not something you're naturally going to do. If you are a person that doesn't usually use your notes, you probably forget this. But then you just solve it to finish it. So for us to solve, we want to get x by itself. So we just subtract 4 from both sides. And then this is the domain. So the actual math work is going to be pretty easy. Correct. It seems strange to do. The domain is you saying which numbers can you put in place of x. And so if your number was smaller than -4, you'd get a negative square root and then it wouldn't work. You don't even care what the answer is. You're just saying which x's can you use. That's why most people have trouble setting these up. Say it again? That's it. The actual math work on this is very little. Oh yeah, we're definitely doing this. That's kind of in the way. Oh, here we go. Maggie, I feel like you need to focus.
I am.
Is it okay to call it Maggie? Okay. I feel like I should use my teacher role right sometimes to get people to focus. Maybe needs that help right now.
Okay, so wouldn't you do the 3 times? Would you do the 3 times the x? 3.
I'm gonna write whatever's under the square root,
Yeah.
and then do you remember what I'm supposed to put after it? It looks like you haven't written it down.
What?
I said it looks like you have it written down.
Yeah. Well, it was net last time it was negative or -3. So would you do that or what would you do? Then
Let me go back just to make sure you do have it written down. Did you write down this part?
yeah, take all the square root info and make it. Okay, so
That's the highlighted part.
yeah, so would you do 0 or
Greater than or
0?
equal to 0.
Okay.
So you're gonna take whatever's under the square root and then write
Yeah.
that. And then solve it. So I know I heard you trying to ask if you should multiply over 3.
Yeah.
We will, but that's not something you have to figure out at first.
Okay.
Okay, is there something you want to call
Yeah, Grace.
out? Wait, you kind of already answered that.
Ben Callie.
Okay. What would you do from here? There's actually a couple things we could do that are both correct.
I would do 3x and then -6.
Okay, so you'd multiply out the 3.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm guessing that's what a lot of people would do.
Yes.
The other thing we could have done is divided by 3 to both sides, but that's only if you saw. Okay, so do you want to keep going or do you want somebody else to go?
I just keep going.
Okay,
Plus the 6 on both sides.
good.
And then you would divide by 3.
Perfect. So then this is our domain. This one is probably about the most math you'll have to do for the domain. Like a couple steps in the problem. We have one topic left. Do you guys want me to put up another example? I don't know how confusing this is or not.
No. I think this one.
This
This
feels
one's
okay to you
easier.
now?
I think.
Okay. I mean, I honestly, that's part of the reason we have homework though too. So if you guys are doing the homework on this and then it feels confusing, that's what we'll work on. Okay, I don't know what you want to write down. My guess is you're probably going to write down nothing and then look at the video of this later. That'd be my recommendation because there's too much to write down. So we're going to do transformations. And we've done transformations before. What I want to highlight. Oh, so this is regular square root of x. So this is called the parent function. And it's on both of these graphs. So we've done transformations this year. We haven't done this one. We did the U-shaped one, which was x squared. I think we did we do the V-shaped one?
Yeah.
Okay, I know we did a straight line. That's probably it. The transformations are the same for all of them. If you have a number being added on the outside, so a number being added or subtracted, You don't need to write this down yet. I have a different screen. That's all. I'm just trying to show you what it does. This moves your graph up or down. So if I have a +2 at the end, it moves my graph up 2. And what we usually do is we usually start at 0, 0, and then just draw a curve. Like, I don't care how good a curve you draw. So we start at 0, 0. If you move it up 2, well, then you would move the starting point up 2. If you move it up 4, you move the starting point up 4, down 1, you know. You move the starting point up or down. The second transformation is if there is a number being added or subtracted on the inside. This moves it left or right, but it's backwards. So a +4 on the inside will take your starting point and move it 4 to the left. A +2 on the inside would move it 2 to the left. A -1 on the inside would be 1 to the right. These are the only two transformations I care about. There are other transformations, but I don't care if you do them. You only have to be able to move it up or down, or left or right. Oh, where's the? Oh, I erased it.
Oh.
Yes.
So that, if you go back to that screen.
Yep.
So when you're moving it left to right.
Yep.
If the number is a plus, then it goes to the negative side, but it's the minus, it goes to the plus side.
Yes, backward. Okay, so these are the only two transformations. This is what I was going to have put in notes. I wasn't going to have you draw like a million graphs. Why don't you tell him what Alex did on his phone? I don't think he submitted. Oh, I see. It's a great reason to always do. If you have a plus or minus on the inside of the square root, that's going to move it left or right. If you have a plus number, this will go to the left, a units. If you have a minus number on the inside, that will go to the right. Numbers on the outside do exactly what they seem like. A plus B would go up. Minus down. So these two things are really all you need to know. One of them is backwards, one of them is not. That's the only annoying part of it. Yes. Did you stretch them with one hand? You look like you were asking a question. You gotta learn to stretch with two hands. There. Maybe it was just like a really important question with two hands. I know, today's a long day. We are basically done. Somebody need this up here, yes? Are you done writing this? Ayla, are you still ready?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty. I just didn't want to switch pages. Okay, I'll leave it. I thought I would just give you like the most difficult question you'll get, and then we'll talk about the changes and then draw. Oh shoot, I forgot one. You guys remember what happens if there's a minus? Yep. Oh no, I thought you were going to say it. It's upside down.
I'm submitting.
Submitting in Snapchat. That's kind of a strange choice. I was pointing it out because I just put an extra one that I forgot. You have that there already? I wrote it while you were in the school. I can't remember if there's one of those on the test or not, so I'll put that there just in case. If there's not a minus sign, you don't do anything. You just leave it in. Yeah, new page. I wrote that wrong. That's right. You wrote adding. Do you want to go by adding the entire time? Well, why don't you ever say that? You guys have to learn to take ownership of your own name. Okay, adding. Can you tell me what any of the changes we would do? What would this be? Perfect. Left one. And the order you write these doesn't matter. It'll work either way.
We're just writing stuff down.
We're going to graph it next. Do you want to call somebody? Sophia. What would be the -3 at the end? Good. Down 3. Correct. It's not upside down. I see you weren't like volunteering yet. I feel like if I would have asked who I didn't call, I knew which one was sending. What do I do with that? Perfect answer.
Yes. Oh, wait, no. I thought you were going to
It's not in the square root.
Well, you might get some that have a number there, but you're not going to have to do that yet. That's going to be for algebra 2. I know I saw in the homework that you had some equations that had a multiplier. You don't have to do that yet. The only 2 changes I care you know about are left and right and up and down. So if there is a number there, ignore it. So that's why I thought the I don't care was perfect. So if we go to graph this, where are we going to move the starting point?
left.
Down 3.
Left 1, down 3. And then we draw a curve, and I don't care what your curve looks like. I mean, the curve has to go that direction, but I don't care what it looks like.
Up to the left. If there's a negative, we'll go to the left.
Negative would go upside down. Yep. I don't know how to undo. I don't believe there's a negative on the test. So that's why I wasn't too worried about it. There might be a negative before. Okay, that's it. I know I didn't leave you much time left. We basically 10, 12 minutes. But I thought you would prefer this over doing it tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
So there's a give and take. Ouch. That definitely sounded like it hurt.
So now we don't have like a Google Meet or anything.
We do not have a Zoom meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow you can use the time to get your homework done.
Okay.
Basically, your homework should be done by Tuesday.
So we don't have any new assignment tomorrow.
You do not have a new assignment tomorrow. I'm going to fix Schoology so that the review is not in tomorrow's folder anymore.
All right.
And I'll do my best to hopefully make sure to actually read correct. Because last time I tried changing Schoology, it didn't like move everything. Oh shoot, what did I click?
computation.